Sometimes you got to switch hands. Just cuts to the.
Listen, if Joe Burrow's right wrist is gone, sometimes you got to resort to the other hand.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Coconut Curry Podcast. If you're new around here, we are 3 college students at the University of Pittsburgh. We chat about sports. And hopefully we offer a new, fresh perspective on some things. We missed last week's episode because we were home for college break.
Yes.
Fortunately, at Pitt, we have a whole entire week off, which is much needed sometimes, but we didn't record, so we missed all of week 11 of the NFL, but we're here to talk about week 12. Yeah. We're going to brush over everything that kind of happened last week.
Because it was kind of, I'm trying to think about like what even happened last week.
Honestly, like it just becomes old. Like the NFL is so weird.
So fast.
So much random stuff happens in between that you just, last week is irrelevant.
What's NFL rundown? Travis Kelce can't play well without Taylor Swift in attendance.
Yeah, basically.
Eagles, then he played well last week.
Yeah.
This week, yeah.
Eagles always have to make the games give you 5 heart attacks before they win.
Which they did again this week.
Yep.
It happened again.
What else?
Mr.
Tommy DeVito. Danny, not Tommy. Danny.
Yeah, Tommy Touchdowns over here decided to start playing well for the New York Giants.
Yeah, Danny DeVito.
Anything else notable from last week?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The Bills are in shambles.
Broncos won.
Yeah. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps our mental health entering the last stretch of the semester. We could really use that little boost. If you click off after a minute, you're fake. Anyway, last year we had a big segment where we talked about Thanksgiving. So I didn't want to just brush over Thanksgiving. So if you were new here, last year we had a classic moment where Raj did not know what he ate at Thanksgiving.
That was really bad.
He didn't know, and I can't. I wish we could pull up the clip now.
I might insert clip here.
I have an Indian Thanksgiving. I can't really contribute.
Okay, so what on Thanksgiving? Like, what is your thing? What do you mean? It's been a minute. It's been a year.
Yeah, short-term memory. Let's see. So I guess it's like Indian appetizers, like samosas and all that stuff, like small things like that. Let's see what else. I mean, it's just like all the small Indian apps, and then I guess like I'm trying to think out here.
Bro, how do you not know what you said?
You said I have an Indian Thanksgiving. We said, what does an Indian Thanksgiving entail? And you said Indian food.
Yeah.
Indian appetizers, Indian entrees.
And the only thing you've been able to name is samosas, and I'm guessing rice at this point.
That is one of them. I'm trying to think. Let's see. And then the normal like chips and salsa or like dips like that. Give me a sec. I'm still going.
Do you know Indian foods?
I'm saying what other stuff. The Indian food, the main course stuff.
So what name?
I'm going down the list.
Oh my god.
Give me a sec.
Okay, so we have samosas, chips, and salsa.
I'm going down the list. Then they have like this kind of like a spice mix thing where like
you keep saying they.
Shush.
Then
Flaming Hot Cheetos.
For the main courses, it's like we'll make a turkey. We'll have like mashed potatoes, gravy, and all that.
Oh, really?
We'll have all that stuff. And then
wait, so this is not an Indian Thanksgiving? What
I told you it's both.
He just went from a college-educated podcast to like not even graduating middle school. Like,
I'm honestly not sure what's happened this episode. I'm gonna be honest.
Our brain cells are lowering by the second.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't remember what I was screaming at him about, but he was saying some stupid stuff.
I was not alive at that point.
Clearly.
I don't know what I was on.
Yeah.
So Raj, it is 7:45 on Monday.
All right.
You are caffeinated.
You are caffeinated and well dressed for this podcast
also,
episode.
Do you want to explain your suit?
Yeah. I'm wearing this to the Bills' funeral.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their playoff hopes are slim to none very soon. Even though they're 6-6, Josh Allen's not being any allegations.
Rest in peace.
Yep.
The Bills season and probably Super Bowl window. Anyway, continue.
Caffeinated, well dressed.
What did you eat?
It's not too late. Raj, what did you eat for Thanksgiving?
So I started off at 3 p.m. drinking a beer.
Okay.
And then at 4 p.m.
That's not something you ate, but
another beer.
Another beer. Okay.
And then at 5 p.m. another beer.
Okay, what time did you wake up?
10.
Okay, well, at 10, you didn't eat anything.
Nope, obviously not.
You didn't eat anything
all
the
day
way until.
Although that's kind of fair. If he's fasting for like the big Thanksgiving meal, fair. That can be valid. What beer were you drinking?
Oh, it's some IPA my cousin had. I don't remember what it was.
We're off to a great start.
I did have an icy mango.
Okay, you had one icy mango.
And then like 3 IPAs.
3 IPAs.
So okay.
4 beers.
So it's 5 o'clock.
So it's now happy hour.
Yep.
What did you have?
So my sister drove me to my uncle's place.
Good.
Very responsible.
Yep. Responsible driver here.
Yep. We get to my uncle's place and I go into the garage and the first thing that happens is my dad hands me whiskey.
Oh God.
So
Oh,
I had a
God.
nice Black Label and Coke.
So it's 5:30 at this point.
yeah,
Not a single thing eaten.
no food
No
yet.
calorie, no solid calorie consumed.
Then
Only bread, water, and whiskey.
6 p.m. hits. I finally eat food.
Okay, what did
Well
you
done.
eat?
I had buffalo wings.
Okay.
And I had tandoori chicken.
Ooh, that's a
Okay.
good combo.
So those are the two things. There's a lot of vegetarian options that
Mhm.
because there was a big fast that day.
Yeah.
So for my mom and anyone who's like very religious and like
Mhm.
wants to do all that, they're fasting. So they weren't allowed to eat until 8. But they had this thing called selvmambra, which is basically like these like little fried like dough, not dough. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a little fried like no. That's it's not a dessert.
Okay.
It's like imagine like you know those little cinnamon twists from Taco Bell?
Mhm.
It's like very tiny, like kind of like fried rice things.
Okay.
So they had that, and you like put potatoes.
I believe
like,
you had that last year too.
Yeah. sweet chutney and shit on that.
How do you remember that?
Because I remember it being a big thing.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
like,
okay,
he's
okay.
like, oh, we don't eat the regular
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. I was
Yeah.
like, what
I
did
know.
you eat?
Yeah.
That was really bad. But at every Thanksgiving, every Indian event, they always have that for some
Yeah.
reason. So there was that, and then there was honestly that was the only vegetarian thing.
Okay.
So then, because everyone was saving room for because it's like very small appetizers, because for some reason it was a potluck, so everyone brought something.
Yeah. Yeah. Classic.
What did
So-
your family bring?
My family marinated the chicken, and my mom made
Okay.
noodles.
Gotcha.
Oh, that sounds
So we had Thai noodles there to mix for like dinner and
good.
stuff.
Damn, that sounds good.
So then we didn't eat Thanksgiving dinner until like 10.
Wow.
So I was still
So what
drinking.
was the chicken part of, like, appetizers? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
apps basically.
Okay.
So I was just basically down in that, trying to sober up a little bit, so I kept my composure around my family. I was
Because you're like 5 or 6 drinks deep at 6
6
p.m.
p.m.
with no
With
calories.
zero food whatsoever.
so I downed a lot of wings, a lot of tandoori chicken,
There we go.
and then 7 o'clock hits. I go back into the garage.
No, no.
My
here we
dad
go.
hands me Founders, this beer from Boston. So I start
Boston.
so I start drinking that. I had because it's like I think there's 2 beers in 1 can or 3.
The segment's turning into what did Raj drink
Wait,
on
basically-
wait.
Thanksgiving?
Did you do a tall boy?
It's not even a tall boy. It's bigger than the tall boy.
You
yeah.
do a 40?
I think it was a 40. I'm not sure.
Oh my
I never read the
God.
can.
What the hell?
So first I like put half the can into my solo cup. I go back and hang out with like the cousins. I'm like playing with the kids. No, pause.
No, it's fine. Oh my God. It
You
wasn't
didn't need-
weird until you made it weird.
Shout
Like
out Josh Giddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
So I'm like playing with my cousins and everything. We're just chilling and vibing. I'm sipping on my Founders. I go back into the garage and re-up on my cup. Still no Thanksgiving food at this point. Not even any Indian dinner or whatever. People are running on fumes right now because we're waiting for my cousin from California to fly in.
oh, so you were waiting for one person? To
Yeah,
show up
it's
to
an
extra
it's
turkey?
yeah, it's a because it's
yeah. I'm sure that's tradition.
yeah, it's some tradition thing. Because he married in, so we were waiting for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was around. He finally pulled up from EWR at 10:30, and then I was finally able to eat Thanksgiving dinner.
Bro, I was like, I might have been asleep at that point.
I was still.
I'm not gonna lie.
I needed a Red Bull or caffeine or something. I needed something. I was not there at that moment.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving dinner finally hits.
So what did
Yes,
you
You eat.
So here is the American, because I'll separate into the American and the Indian side.
Okay.
Okay, I like how this is
Yes.
going already.
Thank God.
So the American side, we had turkey, corn, mash, gravy,
Okay.
cranberry sauce.
Okay,
Very
just
simple,
very
very,
traditional.
simple,
Gotcha.
traditional. So I loaded that all on my plate.
Okay.
And then for the Indian side, we had paneer tikka masala, which is basically like kind of like goat cheese made into like these cubes. Chicken tikka masala. There was for the people fasting, there was like this eggplant like kind of like salad thing.
Mhm.
It was interesting. I don't eat that stuff. Stay away.
Give me meat.
I don't eat salad.
I don't eat salad.
Green stuff? Blah.
No.
And then the noodles either had chicken in them or they were just plain for the vegetarians there. And that was pretty much it actually. And then
That's a pretty good vibe.
and then dessert was like, some people brought cookies, some people got brownies. And my cousin's husband from California, I have a brownie in my hand. He's 6'4", like 260.
Oh, no.
He runs up behind me, grabs my arm, takes it, and eats the brownie out my hand. I got assaulted.
That must have been a really good brownie.
And then he also sat on me.
Oh, that's good.
Well, this is the same cousin from the wedding in Jamaica where he also gave me a
Oh.
lap.
Tackled you.
He tackled me and also gave me a lap
Yeah, you
dance.
can go check out Raj's episode. Raj Finally Speaks. I think it's
Yeah.
episode 11 or 8.
That was one of our like most viewed
It
episodes.
sure was. You're
were
a
very
big
interested
hit on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were very interested in me getting assaulted multiple times.
Wasn't Andres saying something like,
Andres was talking about, he brings up the plane ride 20 minutes later.
oh, yeah, he's like, speaking of planes. We're like,
Oh,
what?
dude, I talked
Speaking of planes.
about the plane there 20 minutes ago.
I remember that.
But yeah, that was
Really
my
showed-
Thanksgiving. And then afterwards, I had a big ass
No,
headache.
speaking of airports.
Oh my
that's-
God.
That's what
That was it.
Now I remember it. But so, yeah.
Yeah.
How hungover were you the next day?
Very, but I had a massive headache because my mom and I counted the people there. There's 41 people in there in total. Guess how many children encompass that 41?
So the
Pause.
children are part of the
41.
Settle down, Justin.
They're a part of the 41.
I'm going to say 20.
I was gonna go 13.
12. But let me tell you
Nice
the
straight
age
rolls,
range of these children.
0 to 10.
0 to 6.
Oh,
that's-
that's a lot of young kids.
Yeah, it's a.
So, and you know children. They
Yeah,
like to
they're a lot.
scream. They like to run
Oh.
around.
It's
Oh.
like the video where it's like, what do I do with this? It's when you have like really younger siblings. Like, what do I do?
Yes.
I don't know. Give him a beer. They're 8.
He's 4. Yeah. Like, I don't know. What do you want me to do with them?
Yeah.
But there are a lot. I taught them how to play Pong. I taught them how to play Flip Cup.
I mean, you got to teach them young, right?
Yeah. It wasn't even my idea. It was my cousin who's like 40. So I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. I had my 2. Yeah, basically. So, long story short, I have a lot of family from Pennsylvania. Love them to death, but it's pretty hick. And might have brought the old beer bong out there, and they got after it. Let's say. And I was not expecting somebody with in their mid 30s with a wife and 2 kids to be able to 2 sip of beer. Apparently, he did.
Or it was your Thanksgiving like one of those Instagram reels or TikToks where it's like the conservative family comes over for Thanksgiving?
Not real. Like they're more. I mean, obviously they're all conservative, but like they're not as like. They're not that kind of.
Okay, they don't fit the stereotype.
They're not
No,
deep
they're
sour.
not like they don't love Trump. They're
Okay.
just conservative.
Okay.
like because they're like they just want to do their own.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of their big thing.
Yep.
Like they like when you walk into my aunt's house, like it's a log cabin in the suburbs, and they have like deer heads mounted
I
on
was
the walls
about to
and
ask
stuff.
that.
They
Yeah.
have the gun safe in the corner. Like it's
They got like a big bass set up somewhere or like a fish thing.
there are fish decorations.
Yup.
But yeah, like that. It's an interesting vibe, but my God, can they drink?
I mean, what better? What
it
more
is
can
insane
you do?
how of course now that I'm like 21 now and I can actually understand like what drinking is. I'm like, wow, you guys like were drinking so much when I was little. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about the other day. Because I was like, I've never really like noticed like some of my extended family
Mhm.
like drinking a lot or being
Yeah.
drunk, but I'm also like, I would never have looked for it.
Yeah, you wouldn't
at
like
all
even
as a
think
kid.
about
Like
it.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have even thought about it. Like
yeah.
I'm off like in the yard doing something or focus on whatever.
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah, yeah.
On New Year's or something, I'm just watching the ball drop.
Yeah,
Not really
or like
aware
you're
of-
watching the football game.
Not really
or
aware of like, oh, Aunt Ellie, that's your 10th beer.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you can't walk straight.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
Even at my family thing, like when I was younger, like they would do it in the garage away from the kids, so we would never
Yeah.
notice. But as I got older, I'm
you
like,
slowly started noticing more and
I
more.
was
and you're
like, hold up, that is straight whiskey.
yeah, you guys are
I
pounding.
was like,
it
really
up.
not contained to the garage. Why do
Yeah.
people keep walking in and out?
Yeah.
It's a very odd spot to be on
Yeah.
It
Thanksgiving.
really is.
Huh, that doesn't taste like Coke.
Yeah, this tastes a little funny.
It's a little spicy.
It's a little spicy.
The back of my throat, like
It's
burns
starting to burn a little bit.
It's supposed to burn.
Shut up, you alcoholic.
For my Thanksgiving, I get through the regular Thanksgiving food,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my little cousins always come over after we have our main meal because they come for dessert because they come from another place. And so we have apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and everything. And I love pie, so I'm always like a big slice
Which
of
one?
pumpkin pie.
Which out of the 3 is your favorite?
Oh, well, this is a contentious debate. Okay.
Okay.
Apple pie is better than pumpkin pie,
Yes.
Okay.
but apple pie is usually eaten like year round, especially like 4th
Yes.
of July, whereas pumpkin pie is only for Thanksgiving.
So it's more special.
So if you're asking me what would I rather have on Thanksgiving, it's pumpkin
Pumpkin
pie
pie.
because I don't have it a lot.
But apple pie is better.
Yes.
I fully agree with that statement. Yes.
So I guess that's I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Some people really don't like pumpkin pie. I
You
don't
don't-
get it.
No.
Oh, I remember
There's
this
a-
now.
There's a story where one of our friends, Jacob, we were at Costco and there's a pumpkin pie there, and he goes, "Yo, everyone would eat it."
Okay, wait, back up. Costco pumpkin pies are not normal size.
They
are
are
big.
15 inches
Like-
diameter.
Like this is like a pizza,
Yeah.
basically, and like a.
Is this
like
this year?
last year. No, this was sophomore year.
Yeah, sophomore year. So it was like 2 years ago.
And
And it's not like it's like a little thin pumpkin. It's like a actual like
Yes.
true thickness pumpkin pie, like 15 inches across, like an inch or two deep.
it was like $18. Like it wasn't pricey
It
or
was,
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was dirt cheap.
But like I think I got it for one of the tailgates or something.
Yeah, I remember you got it for something.
Because Jacob was like, "Oh, don't worry, dude, you got to get it for everyone." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. It's $18." I get it, and I bring it. Only like 2 people had it. Next thing you know, I have this big ass pumpkin pie sitting in my fridge.
I ate it.
Yeah,
I
you
ate
did.
it. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I gotta have at least some of it before I chuck it. So there I am, pounding pumpkin pie for the next few days,
Yeah.
trying to have it before it goes bad.
I could already picture Raj. It's like 11:30 at night, and he just like opens up his fridge. And there's
Tears running down his
tears right down his face, knowing I gotta eat more of this pumpkin pie, but I really don't want to.
Another day.
Because I
another
remember
victory
coming-
for the OGs.
I remember coming over to Forbes Craig once, and there was a pumpkin pie there, and I was like, I love pumpkin pie, and you were like,
Yes.
eat it, please.
Please. Yeah.
You can see the pain in my eyes as I said, please. Ever since then, every time Jacob mentions I should get something, I say, no,
No.
you have no privilege telling me what to get anymore. Ever since that moment. Anyways, back to your story.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Are we
I'm
talking
like,
about football yet?
no. we are a sports podcast.
I swear to God, we just need to get through Thanksgiving
Yes.
because it's always entertaining.
You can see why.
So I get these 2 pieces of pie, and then my cousin comes over, and she's like, guys, I made a cake for Thanksgiving.
Oh no!
And she's like 11
Oh,
or
boy.
10, I can't remember which one, but she's like 10 years old, made this cake, and she's so excited for everyone to try it. I'm like Lily, like there's so much food. Like I'm so full from dinner. I'm eating these 2 slices of pie with like ice
Oh my
cream.
God.
I love pie so much. I'm like ready to pound this pie, and then like Lily's like, do you want a piece of cake? I was like, sure.
Just the tears rolling down your face again. Just like, okay.
So I'm so full by the time like dessert's over.
Mm.
Whatever, I'm hanging out. My stomach just gets worse and worse. I feel so sick. I go
Oh,
to
boy.
bed for the night, like pull my trash can a little closer to the bed. I was
Wait.
like, oh, in case I need to vomit.
Oh, did you puke?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
You're
okay.
lactose intolerant, right?
Yeah, the rules kind of go out the window sometimes
I
on
mean, it's
holidays,
all-
Yeah, I mean,
like-
fair enough.
Yeah.
especially
Oh,
for like.
Your stomach was definitely telling you why
But yeah,
you do that.
especially I think the extra cake didn't really help. I was laying in bed. I was like,
Well,
I'm gonna pull this a little closer just in case.
what type of cake was it?
Buttercream? Like
Oh, that
Oh,
did-
no.
That's what did you? It's the
Oh.
buttercream.
Okay, wait, random question.
Shoot.
Buttercream or whipped cream on cakes?
Whipped cream. on
There's
cake?
on cake?
there's 2 different types of never mind.
You mean icing?
Yeah, there's 2 different
Oh.
icings. There's whipped icing. They call it whipped icing. Whipped or buttercream icing?
I prefer buttercream.
I prefer whipped.
Well,
Anyway,
wh-
I don't know.
Okay.
That's just always been.
that was the entire
Yeah,
statement.
that was
the
just always
Coconut
been.
Curry podcast
yeah.
refers to whipped icing.
Yeah, that's just always been
Apparently.
some like debate I hear people have about cakes.
Yeah.
The
I
problem
don't
is like buttercream icing can be like if you have too much on the cake.
That's what I think.
it like,
Yeah,
overpowers the cake.
Yeah.
But some people don't really like cake. They don't like the filling as much.
Yeah.
They're just in it for the icing. But I
Yeah.
really like the cake
I
itself.
feel like the buttercream icing kind of just overwhelms the cake too much.
The
Gets
worst
rid of
part-
the airiness.
the worst time about my cousin is she doesn't really even like cake that much.
What did
I
she
don't-
make?
I don't know. When she served herself her slice, she served a really tiny itty bitty piece and was like, "Yeah, I'm only eating this much because I don't really like cake." I was like, "Why'd you make the cake then? You almost killed me."
she really thought she was onto something
Oh
there.
my god.
Well,
That's
it was
so
like it was a
funny.
decent cake. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you should make one for like Christmas Eve because we usually have a big celebration for Christmas Eve."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "But I don't want her to." Like, I was like, "I'm gonna eat too much on Christmas Eve again too, and probably like
Wait.
pass out at mass."
Does cheesecake like kill you?
Oh, cheesecake's really bad.
Okay.
No amount of lactate.
Dude, I
The
love
other day,
cheesecake.
I went to
Cheesecake's so good.
Starbucks and I forgot to hit almond milk on the app.
Oh.
But like Starbucks is expensive, so I
Yeah.
had to drink it. Like I wasn't gonna be like no, because it was $7
Mhm.
or whatever it
Yeah.
was. So I waited till I got back to my room. I took a Lactaid, drank half of it, then took another Lactaid, drank half of it. I was in shambles, like
Just obliterating
didn't
the
help
toilet.
at all. Or if it did help, then I would have died if I didn't have it. It was absolutely brutal.
Who needs Miralax when you can just drink Starbucks?
I-
It
it
does
would-
the same thing.
It would be horrible. But yeah, no, cheesecake is really bad. Like I've been to the Cheesecake Factory multiple times since I've been lactose intolerant. People are always like, "Oh, treat yourself. It's fine. Take Lactaid." I'm like, "You don't understand."
The lactate is just so I survive.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is not that. Oh, it's like a little treat for me.
no. It's it's terrible. It's
Yeah.
like cookies and stuff made with milk.
We'll make
It's
that his
fine.
fantasy punishment.
Just eat an entire cheesecake from Costco.
No lactate.
Just crying the tears.
Tears.
God, I can't eat another bite.
Eat it.
Just constantly walking up to the bathroom, throwing up.
Oh, we're gonna have him do the gallon challenge.
With the
Just puking your brains out. Because for anybody that doesn't know, the normal gallon challenge is that you have to drink a gallon of milk in an hour without puking. You can poop, but you can't puke. But for Justin, he just has to get it all down at some point because we know it's going to come back up
Oh
anyway. So
my
it doesn't
God.
matter.
beer
If I had to
bucket.
run like a chocolate milk mile or something, I'd be in.
Oh yeah, we'll do the stomach Olympics.
First, an entire Costco pizza,
Yeah,
extra cheese.
no. What we do, we got to do for the mile. We got to do for every lap. It's one thing in a Wendy's 4x4.
Oh my God.
I did when I was it my first year in college or second? One of the years we did a Wendy's 4x4. So like we would eat a 4x4, run a 400, tag our teammate who would eat a Wendy's 4x4.
Like the entire 4x4
Yeah, like we ran we
like the
competed against
burger
each other.
fries, like
Yeah,
nugget.
yeah. Before you could run the
Jesus!
Did you have to destroy the entire drink, or was it a milkshake? Like
No, it was a
Frosty?
Sprite.
Oh, it was a Sprite. Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh, that would be like, oh god,
yeah.
I would. Oh, you were in a 400
The fries are impossible to get down fat. Like you're just
Yeah.
trying to like eat the fries.
because then like you need to add more soda, but then the soda's getting up.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And it's so much carbonation, and you're just
Because
chugging
then
it.
your stomach is all.
And then you're like, all right, time to sprint.
Yeah.
fries on the burger.
yeah, you got it. If you're talking like food,
If you're
like,
talking speed, yeah.
speed, yeah, fries on the burger, and just pound
And
it.
then down the nugs with the fries at the same time.
Yeah, and then just
Pray to God.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
dump the sauce packet in your mouth.
just eat it.
Yep.
Just eat the sauce packet. All right, so football.
Yeah.
Yeah, so football. We're going to start with Thanksgiving football.
Oh,
I feel like that's the most appropriate
Jesus
place to begin.
Christ, this
God.
game.
I mean, I got to say, I think the Thanksgiving football games were like,
They're pretty good.
They were.
I mean,
I-
Cowboys was terrible.
I thought they were all bad.
Well, no, Packers Lions was a decent game.
Besides that,
At
not
one
even
point,
sucked.
it started off bad.
It started off bad, got better.
So hopping into that game, Packers beat the Lions, who were at home, 29-22. Just reactions to that because felt like the Lions at home on Thanksgiving
Raj, I'll let you
having
take
a really
this.
good season, and then all of a sudden the Packers take them down. And
All right. To defend my client, Jared Goff here. Here's what happened. It was a waxing gibbous Muna. Your Honor, it's not the Lions' fault they lost. It was written in the stars. You cannot blame the Lions for losing that game.
what do you have to say for the Lions' 3 turnovers?
It's the waxing gibbous effect. It was a paid actor. The ball was a paid actor. It influenced everything. Jared Goff is innocent, Your
So
Honor.
you don't think the Lions had any control over the outcome of the game?
I don't think they had any control at all. It was a waxing gibbous moon.
Sir,
And that's what happened.
we plead insanity.
But yeah, if no one saw the stat before the game, on a waxing gibbous moon, the Lions were 0-12 on Thanksgiving Day games, which is a ludicrous
I guess-
stat.
I think it was like since the merge, they played on 13 Waxing Gibbous Thanksgivings, and on all of those, they've lost.
Yup.
And then, of course, this game was won.
That was another Waxing
and
Gibbous,
a
yeah.
smart guy told the group betting group chat that
Lions money
that the
line.
not to bet the Lions money line because of the moon, and a lot of smart people or supposed smart people said the Lions of course are going to win on Thanksgiving at home, and they're having a good season. And who won?
The Gibbous.
The moon won. Jordan Love really rose to the occasion. 268 yards, 3 touchdowns. Felt like a big coming out party for him because like the Packers have been a meddling team all year, just kind of winning games, not really that good.
Yep.
Injuries up and down, the roster inconsistent. Felt like national spotlight game. The Lions are a historic franchise on Thanksgiving, and for Jordan Love to have a really good game, I'm happy for him. It gave him some positive attention. I think he really needed.
I do. It was really nice seeing Jordan Love finally. Like you're right. Like he rose to the occasion because there's been a lot of talk about Jordan Love's terrible, like whatever, and it's like no, he's fine. He's just and it's like, well, he sat behind Rodgers for however many years, and he comes out and he's not the greatest quarterback immediately.
What do
And
you
it's
expect?
it's like not every quarterback's going to come out the gate looking like a Joe Burrow or like a Justin Herbert or like Patrick Mahomes even sat.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Jalen Hurts that too.
Jalen Hurts that too. It's just like some quarterbacks just need more time to develop. And I think
Mhm.
you're finally starting to see it's like, all right, he's just he's developing.
Hey, Kenny Pickett's at
Kenny Pickett sat for a couple games before they immediately threw him in
4 games.
for 4 games. But that's
I almost forgot that Kenny Pickett sat.
yeah, exactly. Like you might as well not have
Mitch franchise.
whatever. Money Mitch. But it's just I like seeing Jordan Love do well. I mean, that's just really the plain and simple.
Also, with the state of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, like Jordan Love is
yeah,
far from someone you're looking to replace.
Yeah,
like
he's playing solid.
yeah, exactly. Like, well, as a Giants fan, we've found
Well.
our second franchise quarterback in
Danny DeVito.
Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets, the Italian stallion
Tell
himself.
me my mom makes my bed.
Yeah, Tommy, I've never done laundry.
The
But
Lions did try to make it interesting.
yes,
like they did
right at the
against-
end, I thought they had a chance of coming
Yeah.
all the way back.
I mean, they had a chance, and they
Yeah.
very similar situation when they beat the Bears last week.
They came,
When they
yeah,
were down, they came back from
Yep.
it. So it'll be really interesting to see. I think the Lions are, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think the Lions are an interesting team to watch forward because they had a really good year. The Packers loss is really bad. They
Really
almost
bad.
lost to the Bears.
Mhm.
So now it's really interesting to see how they'll go forward. Are they going to
Yep.
be able to bounce back from this adversity, or are they going to kind of like resort to being a more of a 6-6 football team than an 8-3, which I
Yep.
think they are now? So that was an interesting game. A game that was not interesting was the Cowboys beating on another bad football team.
it was good for like the first quarter and a half.
It was like
Yeah.
7-10. It was close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good. And then all of a sudden, Cowboys break
blew
open
the
the game
doors off,
45-10. Just, I mean, they beat another bad team. I don't
Yeah.
know what else there's to say. Of course, I think it's impressive when you can beat a team by 35,
Yeah.
but they consistently do this to the bad teams, and they still have 3 losses on the year.
Don't worry. This is where we are in the Cowboys cycle right now. Beat up on bad teams, and it's our year. Then there'll be a first or second round exit. It's like that every season.
Yep. The big thing I get from this game is just the Commanders need to focus so much money on that offensive line.
Yes.
It is so bad.
Their
Ham
skill positions
Sowell
are
is
good.
Constantly running for
Ham
his life.
Sowell's running
Yeah.
for his life,
And
at
like
all times.
his skill positions are good players. Like Jahan Dotson, he's pretty
He's had a
solid.
good year.
Bruh. McLaurin,
Free
is one of the most
McLaurin, bruh.
Yeah,
Like
they
he
need to
he needs
Curtis Samuel, Brian Robinson,
Yeah.
running
they're all
backs.
solid players. It's just their offensive line.
Mhm.
Again, why on God's green earth would you take an offensive lineman from the Giants?
Yeah.
Just wondering.
don't know why.
Don't know why that happened. But they
And their defense is young. Like yeah, they traded away Chase Young and
Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat, but still their defense is still young. They have one rookie, one second year at D-backs.
Well, Emmanuel Forbes is
Well,
having a rough
yeah,
year
he's getting
at-
bullied.
Yeah, he is getting bullied at defensive back.
But
this
he's
year.
a rookie.
He's
What
like,
do you-
that's the thing. He's a rookie. Like he needs that was one of his knocks coming into the league was that he's just like he's a physical. He's got a lot of physical attributes, but he's young.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to be able to learn. It was the same thing with Deontay Banks. Even though Deontay Banks had a better season, but he's had some mess ups. Like,
Yeah.
he got torched by CeeDee Lamb. He got torched by Garrett Wilson, but then he was able to lock up Devontae Adams.
Mhm.
Like sometimes it just happens when you're
Exactly.
defensive back. So I think they still have some hope. I think this is kind of it for Riverboat Ron.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
he's
I think
going to
he's-
get kicked to the curb.
dare I say Frank Reich?
I know.
Oh my
No.
God.
Stop right there. I think the easy head coach switch is Eric Bieniemy.
I
Just
think
put Bieniemy.
I think that was the whole point of it.
I think that was the always the plan. It was
Yeah.
like because they didn't want to just immediately boot Riverboat Ron, just like give him one more chance. But it's like I think it's very obvious that because their offense isn't terrible.
it is.
No.
Like whenever they
It's
start,
specifically the offensive line.
I think Sam Howell still has the most passing yards.
they do. Yeah,
He
he
does.
does by a couple. It's like by not
He,
Well,
Not
that's
a slight
still
margin.
impressive with
Yeah.
that
he
O
has to
line.
throw the ball so many
a.
times.
He throws it like
every-
50 times a game.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he is always getting. He's the most sacked quarterback in the
Mhm.
league.
Yep.
He's throwing the ball all the time. Their rushing attack really isn't that good.
Yeah,
Because
it's like
their offensive
fine.
line isn't
Yeah,
good.
exactly. So
And they just are incapable of controlling that front.
Yep.
And it loses a lot of games, especially when you play the Cowboys twice a year, who have a good pass rush.
Giants
Eagles-
play them well every year.
Yep. I mean, the Giants and them are evenly matched. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, Giants
Eagles are gonna.
Eagles. I mean, not the Eagles. The Giants have decent pass rushers as well.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have, of course, a great pass rush.
Probably one of the best defensive lines in the league.
So haven't been playing like it, but anyway. but
we'll get to that.
that'll be fine. We'll
but
figure it out.
I mean, they're in a tough division to have an awful offensive line. It's
Yeah.
like you're playing 6 games every single year where you're
Yeah.
just getting
Like you're going up against the Eagles defensive line. You're going up against Micah Parsons, Lawrence. Who's the other guy in Dallas?
Oh,
Lawrence Taylor.
Not Lawrence
Oh.
Taylor. Whoever, another
Yeah,
great
Dexter
guy on there.
Lawrence. No.
Not
Nope,
Dexter
that's
Lawrence.
that's
Nope,
Giants.
that's Giants.
DeMarcus
yeah,
Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Jerome
He's been
Bland
there for-
apparently now.
Yeah,
Deron
that's
Bland.
honestly one of the bigger
Yeah.
things is that Deron Bland, was he a rookie this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so undrafted rookie
Mhm.
has now set the NFL record for most pick sixes in a single season. In 11 games, he has 6 pick sixes, which is utterly insane.
Mhm.
Is that more touchdown passes than like Kenny Pickett has?
Yeah.
And that's more touchdowns on the season than a lot of star receivers.
And it's like more than Travis Kelce, more than Devontae Adams,
Yep.
more than
Smitty.
more than Smitty, more than a lot of
Yeah.
people.
It's a tough look for some receivers.
It is.
It's a tough look. Yeah.
And then moving on to 49ers beating the Seahawks 31-13.
I mean, they
What a-
just got
yeah.
mauled.
Yeah,
like,
CMC's him.
yeah.
I think
That's
there's a couple of things here. Number one, the 49ers have been by far and away the best NFL team this year.
NFC.
Aside from best NFL team this year, aside from those 3 games.
Oh, okay.
Like they have been astronomically better than everybody in the games that they've won. Now that's
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
They've
yeah.
looked really bad in those 3 games they lost.
That's okay. That's a
And
good point.
you have to average everything out, but when they do win, they look great and they're
Yeah.
dominating teams like left, right, front, and center.
Yeah.
And for me, the Seahawks, I think they're running out of gas. Like I think
There's the little Cinderella run. I think it's over.
they've been playing above their head for the
Mhm.
last 2 years, and I think
Mhm.
now they're running out of gas. You see a Rams loss a couple weeks ago. They played the Commanders really tight at home,
Yeah, they
and
barely
then they
won
got
that game.
destroyed by the Ravens,
Yep.
38-3. So now you're kind of seeing a Seahawks team that I think they
I-
really need to kind of press the restart button on a few things, starting with the quarterback, maybe some of those skill position players.
I mean, this is just the Seahawks every season. We thought it was all Russ, but it's every season except last season somehow. But every season, the Seahawks have a very solid first half of the season, then an absolute collapse in the back half.
Yeah, that is true.
It's just happened for the last 10 years. I think 7 out of those 10 seasons have been like that.
Yeah, because
Maybe more.
that's the reason why Russ has never gotten an MVP vote, because he always starts out so great and then just like right at the end of the season. But yeah, I think that's a really good point about the 49ers, because like obviously you have to equate everything out. The Eagles still overall are better, even though obviously they're playing a lot closer games and everything. But when the Niners are rolling, like no one stops
No
them.
one.
Like when they are winning and they can just like when their defense can pin their ears back and know that you have to try to move the ball down the field, their pass rush, now that they just added Chase Young, I think their stats now, it's like I don't think Chase Young has had a ton of sacks. I think he's only had like 2.
Yeah.
But the issue now is that they can't just double team Nick Bosa at
No.
all times or double team anybody now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, now we need to put everybody back there. So someone's getting single teamed
Yep.
Mhm.
and someone's going to be getting the quarterback eventually.
Mhm.
So then, I mean, Geno Smith was getting
Yeah.
mauled that
Get
game.
another game plan around that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
tough.
Now you just got to do it. I think one of the scariest things is also just how elusive their team is, because they lined up Nick Bosa and Chase Young in the A gap. They sent Javon Hargrave and whoever their other guy, Kinlaw,
Yeah, yeah.
on the B gap, on like the BC gap. So it's like, what is happening? Like, what are you
You're
running?
like, what?
Like, what is that? They just switched them.
If that was Zach Wilson, he just called a timeout.
You'd
Be
just be like,
yeah.
I'm gonna die, please, right
pick
now.
me up,
Yeah.
mom, please.
Yeah, so it's just like they're just so versatile. Obviously, the best front 7 in the league, and
Unfortunately, they lost to Funga.
they
They
did.
did.
That's a horrible loss because he's such a great strong safety.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be something to kind of look at in the future, is if teams are able to kind of pick on that new safety that's coming in there. And then also they do have great receivers, but they don't push the ball down the
It's
field.
don't.
they're not like
I mean, why would you have
I don't
to
feel like
when
they're
CMC
great
can beat him
pass
up?
catchers necessarily. They're great run after the catch guys.
They're yak guys like crazy, but like they only catch like within 25 yards.
Yes.
Like there's no take the top off
Their
the
deep
defense.
threat, I would say, is Ayuk, but like even
Not
then,
really,
it's
though.
like maybe like 30.
It's like the max is like
Yeah.
30.
But tackling those guys is a disaster.
It's
Yes.
yeah. I mean, Debo, Christian McCaffrey, even Ayuk, like in the
Ayuk.
open field, like these guys are terrifying.
and they still
once get the
who's
ball in
their
hands.
third? He's still really good.
Jennings.
Yeah, Rashad
Yeah.
Jennings.
And then they have Kittle, of course.
Yeah.
Who's still
How
a
could I
beast.
forget? Yeah, he's still an absolute monster. Probably the best overall tight end in the
Yes.
league, but of course Travis Kelce still is the best right now.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, just look at how Kittle can pass block like nobody.
Yeah, he is
Or run
like
block.
he's like a Gronk Jr. kind of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously not saying he is as good as Gronk. Let me make that very clear. He's Gronk, I still believe, is the best of all time, but that's just me.
So those were the Thanksgiving Day games. Not really any really super exciting games, but
Yeah.
the 49ers getting back the grasp of that division.
Yeah,
they needed to
and
get.
like really establishing themselves. Like, all right, went on a skid for a little bit. We're back.
Yep. And then the Lions will be interesting, the team to follow there. Moving on to games that mattered or I care about. There are some games here that I actually really don't care about, but they do kind of matter. And the first game is the Colts beating the Bucks.
No one
27-20.
cares, but
Cool.
I do not care, but somehow the Colts find themselves at 6-5.
yeah,
Yeah.
with losing Anthony Richardson, they are still 6-5. Like I see here, you put in Shane Steichen, Coach of the Year candidate. I think right now I would put
D'Amico Ryans.
either D'Amico Ryans or the Vikings head coach O'Connell. O'Connell. Yeah, O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, I think those three right now are probably Coach of the Year candidates. But
What team is Kevin O'Connell?
Vikings.
Vikings.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like no one really cares about
Yeah.
this game, but it's kind of just, it's like good for the Colts. Bucks are kind of on a slide.
Yeah.
Eh.
Well, for the Colts, it's just so weird because if you had told me before the year that the Colts would be 6-5, I'd be like, oh,
Okay.
I'm sure Anthony Richardson is great.
It's like, oh yeah, he's
It's
doing
like-
well.
It's Gardner
No,
Minshew.
he hasn't played.
It's Gardner. Yeah.
It's the Colts keep finding ways to win. And I'll talk about this in a little bit too, but like the AFC South is suddenly the Texans, who are pretty good,
Yeah.
the Jaguars, who are really good,
Yeah.
the Colts, who are above 500.
Yeah.
Like,
Who's the last team in that division?
Titans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
but suddenly it's like that division's like
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah. Suddenly that division just got good.
And it's
out
not
of
like, I mean,
nowhere.
they got Jonathan Taylor, which is helping them out a lot. Had 2 touchdowns this game.
Yep.
But just their talent is not like crazy. Like Pittman Jr., I don't really think he's a true wide receiver one.
Yeah,
Their
and-
offensive line is good,
It-
but old, kind of.
Yeah, they can be good at times, but then sometimes they do let up too much pressure. It just like kind of depends on the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just crazy to think that we're
Yeah.
living in a world where the Colts are 6-5 with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
And Shane Steichen is leading this team. So it's exciting for them for next year.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think
I think they got a really good setup for
If
next
they can
year.
get a nice wide out one or
Because
someone
they
who can
have
complement Pittman.
Downs
Yeah,
from
Downs
North
is-
Carolina. He's a good like wide or two though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do kind of need that big. Either they need like they need somebody like a
Stephon Diggs.
Devontae Adams.
I'm saying like because they could trade up. They could try to get like a Brock Bowers.
Yeah, they
like a
could.
tight
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say tight end. I think a good
like a
tight
tight
end would
end,
really help them out.
like a good safety blanket for Anthony Richardson, or you get like a
Did
just-
Dallas Goddard get an extension?
I'm not sure.
Oh God, you guys might be a little worried there if you didn't get. an
Only because I'm
extension.
thinking like if they don't want to pay, the Eagles don't pay him. Could see him going to the Colts.
Yeah.
Familiar system.
and then you go get Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
sure. I'm reasonable. I know our team's expensive.
Georgia, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we're
he's from
fi-
Georgia, so
we're fine.
you
Yeah,
have
oh,
to.
yeah.
you
How are we
have to
gonna
go
pull
get him,
something
yeah.
off?
Gonna join the boys.
Yeah.
How we assembled Alabama's offense and Georgia's defense to
Yeah.
play each other every day.
Yeah, literally. But whatever.
Um,
Anyway.
and then I was just gonna mention the Bucks. It was fun when they were 3-1.
Yeah.
and then they've just been 1-6.
I mean, Baker's not playing terrible. I
Mhm.
still love Baker, but I
It's
mean,
still a rebuild for them
The
right
whole-
now.
whatever,
I mean,
yeah.
that I don't even feel like they're rebuilding though. This is
Yeah.
I kind of talked about it at the trade deadline. Really felt like a team who should have probably sold
They
off
should've-
Mike Evans or
yeah.
Chris Godwin or
somebody they
Yeah.
should have started trading people. Yeah, I mean, because the issue is that they're only going to get older from here, and
Mhm.
their trade value is only going to go down.
They're a pretty old team too, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got
are,
a lot
yeah.
of old. They got a lot of old people in that roster. So I mean, it's kind of like, all right, what's it like? What's it looking like next year? Where's our
Yeah.
draft pick? What are we looking
Mhm.
for? Because it's like it's kind of over at this
I
point.
think their
4
entire
and 7.
offense is old
But
besides
crazy
Rashad
enough,
White.
Yeah,
4-7 is a game back of the lead for the NFC South.
Yeah. Because we're the Saints right now.
We'll get into that 5-6,
Oh.
and they don't lead.
what is wrong with
Okay.
that division?
Yep,
Oh my god!
yep. But we'll get that into that in a little bit. Moving on to Steelers Bengals again. Not a great game. 16-10. Bengals.
Excuse you. This was an amazing game.
Amazing
Because
game.
for the first time in 58 straight games under Matt Canada, the Steelers offense on their first game without that demon spawn had 400 yards of offense, getting through for nearly 300 yards.
and they put up a grand total of 16 points.
Well, a
Hey,
touchdown
don't
got
you-
taken off the board.
Yes.
and-
Don't you dare disrespect Kenny Pickett like that.
All right,
yeah.
Raj, public defender, please defend Kenny Pickett.
Alrighty. Kenward Pickett It's his second year. He was in hell with Matthew Canada
Yeah.
as his OC. When Matt Canada is gone, Kenny threw for almost 300 yards, and I think he only had 7 incompletions.
Yep.
And yes, no touchdowns thrown. Once Deontay Johnson got taken away, and we're also acting like the Bengals' defense is like terrible.
Yeah.
Like their offense is gone, but their defense is still there.
Yeah.
It's also the AFC North. It's a division rivalry.
Yeah.
How would you respond to the claims that the offense got better once Matt Canada stood on the field?
I would respond. They got slightly better, but as soon as Matt Canada was gone,
It got significantly
better.
Are you happy to see the new OC standing on the field?
Yes.
I am.
Do you think he would be better off in the booth?
No.
Okay. Do you think that would stunt Kenward Pickett's development?
Yes.
I think just F it, we ball. See what happens and see what works. Mike Tomlin's black magic will work.
Yes,
and
they
Kenny
will
Pickett.
always. How are they 7-3? How are they 7-3?
It's 7-4.
No, I think they're 7-3.
4.
They can't play 10 games.
They dropped a game to the Browns.
Steelers, wait.
But no, the Steelers having
I
the
think
record they
7-4,
have
yeah.
is just crazy. Like it makes no sense.
Honestly, they should have beaten the Browns last week. I
'Cause
don't know what that was.
Because all jokes aside, like their offense has been horrible all year.
Mhm.
They shouldn't have been winning these games, and it's just fascinating to think that they have such a good record in the league. Because I don't really think anyone actually fears the Steelers. Like
No, not at all.
No contender does, but they still sit at 7-4,
Yeah.
which is one game back of where everyone else is at 8-3.
Any given Sunday, who knows what could happen? Kenny Pickett
But-
for MVP.
So like Kenny looks better, which I'm happy to see. I'm hoping that they can kind of build some momentum for the rest of the year. They actually used the middle of the football
I
field,
know, crazy.
which is revolutionary to see. That
Fryermuth looked like Travis Kelce out
it's
there.
Yeah,
crazy
he did,
when you
yep.
don't just stick to the 10 yards on the edges.
That you can
You
actually
You
use the
the
middle
whole
of the
30
field.
yards
yeah.
in the middle of the field.
And
It's-
another 5 and out to Deontay Johnson for 2 yards.
For 2 yards. Yeah, exactly.
and I mean, the running game was going. Najee Harris
Yeah,
actually looked
Najee
like
Harris-
a running back.
Jalen Warren looked
Yep.
good too. Like, I think that's kind of the biggest telltale sign that like Canada was kind of the problem
Mhm.
because he literally just did not call plays to the middle of the field. Like he just did it.
He hated it.
Part of the concern there is, you think, does he trust the quarterback because he's not letting him throw into the middle?
Even
of the
when it was
field?
Mitch.
He didn't do it either.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but do you trust Mitch Trubisky?
no, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
the thing is
yeah.
that you got to take some risks.
Well,
at
that's what I'm
some
saying.
point.
He's coaching like he's scared.
Yeah, exactly. He's coaching scared because he's like, oh well, I don't want to like mess anything up. But it's like at that point, it's
Well,
like, dude, like
He already did because you're gone.
yeah, exactly. And then you start to see a coach who has nothing to lose. Like, all right, I mean, I'm just in here interim. Screw it, throw it in the middle of the field.
He opened the Madden playbook and
slant
said,
route.
whatever.
Yeah, throw a slant, do it. Yeah, and I
Dare I say a corner route?
yeah, corner slant. I mean, they were also hitting some like deeper
Or
passes
is
and
that
stuff to
post?
George Pickens and stuff like that. So I think it was just they looked a lot better.
Yep.
They looked a lot better.
What didn't look good was Deontay Johnson not running after the fumble.
Jesus. That was bad.
Yeah, I mean Deontay Johnson. I don't know what his problem is because at like for the longest time he was like the one that was dropping passes,
Yep.
and then now that the playbook starts to get opened up and Canada's not there, they start everything's starting to like click it together and whatever. So it's like, why are you mad now?
Yeah.
He just
That's
always
why I
seems
was like-
disgruntled.
I was like, out of all times to
like
not hustle,
Then
to
he,
not
he
try.
fought Minka in the locker room.
yeah, him and Minka were like kind of getting into it, and it was like,
Isn't Minka hurt still?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
he is. It
What,
was like,
what were they beefing about?
yeah, I don't know what I think. Well, Minka might have been chirping him for not going after the ball.
Yeah, probably.
Because
I mean,
that's-
I would. That's a
Yeah,
horrible
it's
look.
like, dude, like, what are you
Minka's
doing?
a captain on that team. You
Yeah,
have to hold him
exactly.
accountable.
But then I guess Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt got in the middle of it. I don't know.
Like, you touching our safety?
Because truly, like, I can understand the frustration from the entire year of
Yeah,
being on that
yeah,
Steelers
of course.
offense.
But,
But
like,
Now, if there's any time to hold it together, it's when you finally get rid of the offensive coordinator and
you're doing well.
and you're moving the ball. Listen, I'm joking about them scoring 16 points. They moved the ball really well this game.
Yeah.
It's tough to see 16 points only show up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and-
but at least you're moving the ball.
yeah, it's like obviously there's no moral victories in the NFL, but to see that you are doing better is like that has to count for something, at least in the locker room.
Absolutely.
Where it's like you're like, okay, it's not us. It's like we have the potential to do this against a division rival. We can move the ball. It doesn't have to just solely be our defense that bails us out every single time.
Mhm.
And for the Bengals, I think with Joe Burrow's injury, the whole team has kind of looked like
We're
they've
done.
given up.
Yeah,
Like
they're
I just
done.
don't. I don't
Yeah.
think the Bengals have the same energy, the
No.
same drive. Because what are you going to do? Like you think your quarterback's going to go out there and lead this team to the playoffs.
Uh,
You're already
Jake
in a hole.
Browning gonna do.
Jake Browning.
I mean, Jake Browning wasn't going to. I mean, Joe Burrow wasn't going to be able to do it if
Yeah.
he was healthy because
Yeah.
of how much of the hole they're in. Jake Browning certainly ain't going to do it.
It's. I think at this point they're kind of just like. I think they're
Cooked.
they're taking their medicine that they should have done in the first place and just letting Joe Burrow rest,
Yep.
which they should have done from the jump
Yup.
and stop putting him out there when he's not healthy. But whatever.
I've advocated for a
Could've
lot of
gone Andy
teams
Dalton back.
to lose this year
Yeah.
for a better draft pick. But I'm not even joking with the Texans. They should not play Jamar Chase and they should not play T. Higgins.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Because Jamar Chase is their star receiver. Don't get hurt. T. Higgins might be a trade piece if you can
Yeah.
sign and trade him or whatever. I wouldn't even. I'd
Yeah.
just rest them.
Like, or at least like you maybe get them in for like a decent amount.
Yeah.
Like just to like play, stay warm,
Mhm.
whatever. But then like if the game starts getting out of hand, do not even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would really start to think that way if you're the Bengals because I think everyone believes they can come back next year and get to the
Yes,
Super
I don't-
Bowl.
I think because they legitimately they just need a damn offensive line
Yes.
to protect Joe Burrow. They have weapons on offense. They have a solid defense that gets takeaways. You just need to protect the quarterback.
And if you lose a few more games, if you keep your players healthy, you get an offensive lineman. I think that would benefit them a lot.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't think they're going to win many games to begin with, but I just would hate to see like Jamar Chase tear an ACL.
Yeah.
And now he's out until midpoint of next
Mhm.
year.
Yeah.
And then you're losing games and having another terrible start. So,
Exactly.
hoping that no one on the Bengals gets hurt.
Yep.
A really great game, which I'm happy it was a great
Mhm.
game.
Yes.
Jaguars versus Texans at home. The Jaguars win 24-21.
I think Jags are back.
Yes.
They
They're
are.
they're back to that team that they everybody thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. Calvin Ridley's still just like kind of fine.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy there. But
He has his moments.
He has his moments. But I mean,
Dougie P slowly working him back in.
yeah, slowly working him back in. CJ Stroud, he threw a couple picks, I think, in this
Yeah.
game.
No picks this game.
No, but oh right, that was last week. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was thinking of last week. That's my bad. But I mean, they looked pretty solid. I mean, again, like they're going to be playing
Yeah.
good teams. Like, I mean, it was just a good game. Like,
Yep.
it was clearly like, okay, the Jags are back to being good. But this is honest, even though they lost, this is a good game for Houston to lose.
Yes, 100%.
Because it's like, look, you're not going to win everything and you're going to be down and like things aren't going to go your way. But the fact that they really showed up and showed out, like this wasn't just the Jaguars beating the crap out of them. They scored in garbage time. Like they went out there. It was a dogfight the entire time. Like, I mean, Tank Dell looked good at as a rookie receiver. I
Nico
mean,
Collins too.
Nico Collins looked great. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to for the Texans. Very confused why the stadium wasn't sold out at this
Yeah.
point for a division game. It
Also, it was Houston. I would have expected it for Jacksonville, but it was in Houston.
was in Houston.
Yeah.
Strange, but whatever, I guess. But I think next year, I think it'll be more
Yeah.
sold out because I think people just weren't expecting it to be that good. And with how expensive tickets are, I can't blame people.
Mhm.
And that's why this is sponsored by. I'm kidding. I wish.
Buckedup.com.
No, I was going to say.
Yeah, use
I was,
20
I was going to
use
say it was sponsored by SeatGeek, but unfortunately,
I mean, SeaGeek. if you
Raid
wanna-
Shadow Legends.
yeah, right now. but yeah, I see that note you put in here. AFC South kind of coming together there because it's the Colts clearly have Anthony Richardson coming in. I mean, that division of quarterbacks
Mhm.
is going to be very good soon.
Minus the Titans.
Well,
We don't
I mean,
know
look,
about them yet.
look. Here's the thing. So we know Trevor Lawrence is a guy.
Yes.
CJ Stroud,
Yes.
guy.
Richardson,
Richardson,
the guy.
short sample size,
50% of a guy.
Yeah.
short
He looks
sample
on his
size,
way.
but looks like he's on track to be a guy. Will Levis shows some sparks.
Yep.
Can be good. That division in the next 4 to 5 years
It's
could
gonna-
be disgusting.
Yep.
And for a team like Tennessee, they're good. A lot of people like playing there. The weather's good. They're getting a brand new stadium. You could look at some free agents.
They could just
coming
be in
there.
a full on rebuild, and if you
Mike
have a
Vrabel's a really good coach.
Vrabel is a very good coach. So it's like if you have just a full on rebuild, like because I mean love Derrick Henry, but I mean he's only going to be there for so
Yeah.
long at this point because he's just not going to be in that window. But I mean, if you just have a full rebuild there, I mean like there's like the sales tax there is pretty good. Like everything is like looking good to be like living in Nashville. Like
Yep.
it's a great place to live. So it's a good place for free
Good
agents.
place
And, like
to party.
if you end
Tequila
up
Cowboy.
if you end up like making some trades for more draft
Mm-hmm.
picks, really get like a young team going there, I think it's going to be really competitive in that division for a long time. But I think you could beat the piss out of some teams if you really try to build that roster.
For sure. But yeah, Jaguars all of a sudden 8-3, making it real interesting at the top of the AFC, which we'll get into in a little bit. I didn't want to put this game on the list, but I had to because
It does technically matter.
it does matter. The Falcons beat the Saints 24-15.
I think Arthur Smith heard my threats.
Yeah.
He
He did.
finally used
They
Bijan.
Yep.
finally used Bijan.
Oh my god.
I just read one of your bullet
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, mind my French. Desmond Ritter is so bad.
Like, I was not expecting that from you. But yeah, I mean, he's just like, look, I don't want this to sound like I'm trying to bag on the guy. Like, I don't want him to succeed.
I'm gonna bag on him. He's not good at football. Maybe you're somewhat good at college, but no, you're not good. And I can't even publicly defend you. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
to defend you about.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the whole
Enjoy the
narrative-
XFL, buddy.
I remember the narrative going into the draft that one year where everybody was saying that Desmond Ritter was better than Kenny Pickett, and dear Lord, look, if you swapped Desmond Ritter and Kenny Pickett, Kenny's doing better in
Yes,
Atlanta.
100%.
That's, like, period.
Yeah, I thought Desmond Ritter would come in and be a guy who wasn't really flashy, but just
Could get the job done.
didn't throw many interceptions. Kind of like a Jared Goff kind of guy, but maybe a little less of
Yeah.
Jared Goff at this point. And he's just not. He turns the ball over quite frequently.
Yeah.
There's no. Not only is there no pop to him,
Yeah.
he also turns the ball over. So he's just not a good quarterback.
Yeah.
This is NFC South behavior. The Falcons are 5-6 and would lead the division. The Saints are 5-6, are not in it. Right? It's just. I mean,
Who cares?
Yeah, it's horrible. But I did need to note this.
They're going to
game
get
here.
obliterated by whoever comes in there in the wild card. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Whatever.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Especially because it might be the Cowboys.
If the Cowboys walk into Atlanta
And
as the
lose.
wild cards,
Yeah.
and dude, they're going to drop 45 points on Atlanta.
Or they lose. Or they could lose. You never know.
Well, no. They win in the wild card
Oh, you're
rounds.
right,
They
you're
lose
right.
in the divisional rounds.
When it matters.
It will be the Cowboys because the Cowboys are 8-3. They're probably going to be the number one wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
Which
They'll be
means-
the last in the. They'll be
Yeah.
the last division winner. So
Yeah,
easy as that.
it's going to be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about that.
Nothing.
Game of the year contender,
Yeah,
my and Raj's Philadelphia Eagles at home beat the
Yay.
Bills 37-34 in overtime. The meme stays true.
yes.
Every Eagles game is stressful, but we were able
Yes.
to pull it out. I wanted to get Raj. I want your little public defender take over here. Can you please defend Jalen Hurts' first half performances?
Alrighty. So, you all know the memes. I personally do. The memes about the Philadelphia Eagles before the game. I can't wait to watch my favorite team play. And then as we watch the game, the middle part, what the am I watching? And then at the end of the game, oh, nice, we won.
yeah.
To defend Jalen Hurts is all part of the script. He's not allowed to. We're not allowed to blow teams out this season.
No.
Roger Goodell and the script writers told us we must keep these games close, but still pull off a miraculous win at the end. And that's just what happens every game. And Jalen Hurts had to play like that because the script told him to.
Oh, okay. So it's not actually his choice.
Your Honor, he has no free will.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice.
My
in the matter.
client is innocent.
Yeah.
Gosh, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. But on the real though, Jalen Hurts just some abysmal first halves, but Eagles still pull it out. The bigger thing from this game is absolute heartbreak for Bills fans. Like
Yeah.
they, despite all the shade people have been putting on the Bills, this could have got them to be 7-5, which is
Yeah.
very much live
For
for
the
a wild
playoffs,
card
yeah.
spot.
Yep.
They still would be live for the division spot. They only be 2 games
Realistically,
back.
yeah, you're only 2 games back. From
and they
there.
have games at Miami still.
So
But now they're 6-6, and people are ready to blow it up.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's. We talked about this a little bit before the pod, but the Bills just had a really unlucky season. Like they've just had every bad break go the other way. Because at this point, I think they could be 10-2 or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah,
They could be 10-2 if like the Jets don't return that punt, or if they like make the tackle on the punt, or if the Broncos miss that field goal and they don't have 12 men on the field.
Yeah.
If these certain things go a different way, they could be 10-2. They could be like easily. They could be winning their division, and then everyone's like, "Oh, they're fine." Like they could be like the Eagles, where it's like they win dirty games, but they win. And I think they are the mirror to the Eagles this year of like clearly have high end talent, clearly have the potential to be very good, but they are losing these very tight games as opposed to the Eagles who are winning these very tight games.
And I think with all that the Bills fans have endured the last 3 years or so since that
They're
13
just
seconds,
exhausted.
this is just a straw that broke the camel's back
Yeah.
in terms of this is when the fan base is getting really upset.
They're getting
because-
loud now.
because it is just they can't take it anymore. They
Yep.
have lost so much and they're not having any success. And if you're Sean McDermott, some other people have been talking about it. To waste the time, you have 23 seconds left. It's like I think it was 26 when Jake Elliott made that 59-yard field goal. You waste the timeout to ice him,
Which
Which-
didn't work.
is strange. Number one, is a 59 field goal in the rain. I don't really know if icing is going to help him out here.
Yeah,
It's like make him overthink it. You're just booting the ball.
yeah.
And then if he makes it, or if he doesn't make it, you get the ball at like the 40, at your
Yeah.
40 with two timeouts and 20 seconds and a quarterback and a deep shot offense. Easily.
Well, they'd be winning at the time.
yeah. But I'm saying they would have gotten the ball back. Oh, they would have. Yeah, game would have. Yeah, I thought it was before half.
But they still would have needed to get a first down. Though.
yeah, but they would have
Yeah.
gotten the ball back if that shot still goes in.
Yeah,
They could get the Chiefs scored 13 seconds on them.
yeah.
One-
And they had 20. Yeah.
They had 20 seconds, and again, they have offense that can go deep. And the Eagle secondary is nothing like.
Agent Bradbury was getting torched a lot
Yeah,
of that
that was
game.
bad.
And so
Yeah.
to waste a timeout on icing,
Yeah, you gotta keep that in your pocket so that way you give yourself at least a shot in case he makes. Because it's like at that point you're just praying that the weather doesn't go into it. I mean, that was a gorgeous kick
yeah,
by
Yes.
Jake Elliott. He kicked it into the wind so that way it curved back into the uprights.
the
Like,
dog.
I mean, he's an absolute dog. I mean, like it. Yeah, I mean that's just a bad call by McDermott. I mean,
And then even to kneel it out with 20 seconds to just not.
yeah, and I mean Tony Romo was saying something on the broadcast of like, well, the Eagles have a really good defensive line, so like it's very likely that there could be an interception or a forced fumble, and they could go down and score again. It's like
If you're Sean McDermott, you're 0-5 in overtime games before the game started.
try.
You have a franchise quarterback. Like, don't play scared and be like, well, he might turn the ball over, strip sack, interception, return back.
He played fine in the
He
game.
was playing great. He was the best
Yeah.
player in the week. He's going to win AFC Player of the Week.
He
probably.
should like.
He was playing great football. At least give him the shot. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're playing scared. And again, I know that might not be all Sean McDermott's fault. You're 0-5 in overtime games. in
Stop
your
going to
career.
overtime.
Like-
Like,
At least give him a shot there. Tell him to shoot the ball deep and give a jump ball to Stephon Diggs or go
Yeah.
deep on Gabe Davis
Or-
or Agent Bradbury can't play.
or you do the thing that every single NFL team does: is you have somebody go deep, then you underthrow the ball a little bit and try to go for a PI.
Something.
Like,
You had 2 timeouts.
yeah, like
So I think that's just I think Sean McDermott doesn't have a job next year. Well, I think he'll get a new job, but I think,
He's going to the Chargers.
no. I'm not talking about the Chargers.
not yet.
Really soon though. Moving on. Great game. Eagles 10-1. They just keep finding ways to win football games.
Yeah, I
Get that
mean,
every week.
I think something that a good mindset that you kind of saw during that game is both Jason Kelsey and Jalen Hurts on the sidelines. When they saw that it went through the uprights, they still looked very pissed because I think they obviously don't want it to come to that because like they had so many opportunities to end up winning that game, whatever. I mean, they're just dogs. Like that entire entire roster has the like exact right mindset of like, look, we could be doing a lot better than we're doing right
Mhm.
now. So I think they have the right attitude for it. It's still, I know they're 10-2 or whatever. It's just still concerns me that they just don't
Dominate.
dominate like they did. And I know that sounds dumb because of their record,
Mm.
but it's like they don't dominate teams like the 49ers. And of course, they're playing them next.
Yep.
I could be eating my words completely and they could just beat the 49ers. That establishes them as the best team in the league. But when they never seem to get rolling and they get in their own way a lot, like they'll be driving down the field to score a touchdown in 5 plays. Next series, they come out and it's
Punt.
2 QB draws and then like a bad screen
Yeah.
and then they punt. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and that's where some of the I think Brian Johnson's a really good situational play caller. And to be fair, I don't know what is Brian Johnson, what is Sirianni, because Sirianni was an OC.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's calling certain plays
Yeah,
over
yeah,
right
yeah.
plays, but assuming it's all Brian Johnson, who is the play caller, I think he's really good situationally. That last drive
was
in
awesome.
overtime was gorgeous. And
Yeah.
the QB draw play
Actually
12
worked.
yards out was
Yeah.
a great call there in that situation. But then, like you said, there will be certain drives where it's
3 screen passes in a row.
three screen
Yeah.
Went
passes
to
in a
Julio
row.
Jones.
Yeah.
A QB draw on first down that goes nowhere, a run that goes 2 yards, and then another QB draw that gets nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, where's this consistency on
Yeah.
the offense? I think like you mentioned, this 49ers game is huge.
Yeah.
If they can go in and win, no matter what happens, if it's overtime or what, if they win the 49ers game, no one will say anything about them looking shit. They'll just be like, well, the Eagles just play teams close, but it doesn't matter because they beat the
win.
Bills,
Yeah.
Chiefs, 49ers, the
Yeah.
Cowboys once.
Yeah.
And they won all those games. But they do need to beat one of the 49ers or Cowboys. 'Cause I
Mhm.
do think it would be a tough look, even though they'll probably still be the 1 seed, even though they'll be fine for the playoffs. I think it would be a tough look going into the playoffs, playing a lot of teams close, having lost to the 49ers and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Even if you beat the Seahawks and win out your schedule. So I think they got to get one of two here. I think that 49ers game will be very interesting. I do wonder, though, I think both teams will kind of be holding back in a sense that they don't want to show all their
hand,
plays or
yeah.
show their hands because they know it's very likely
Yeah.
they will see each other in the NFC Championship again.
We
game
might
again.
just see a very just power football game the whole game.
Yeah, it could just be like power eye running the ball.
Shanahan and like Sirianni looking at each other. You're hiding something. You're hiding
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Both teams just don't play their starters. They're like, all right, backups go.
We don't.
Which
We're
team
going to
has
see
the
y'all
best
later.
backups?
Yeah, which team is the best backup?
I'd like
And
to see
Marcus
Mariota.
50-yard touchdown run. Sam
Marcus
Darnold.
Mariota.
Yeah, Sam Darnold versus Marcus Mariota. That'd be crazy.
Oh my god.
I'd pay to see it.
I would pay so much money to see that. Not at all.
Moving down the list, Chiefs finally got their offense going. They went down 0 to 14 against the Raiders.
Yeah,
and
Josh
then-
Jacobs had like a 60-something yard touchdown run.
67 or something. And
The Raiders stopped playing football after that.
They just stopped playing.
yep,
The
and
tank
Chiefs,
was on.
and the Chiefs. Yep. And then the Chiefs offense finally snapped, and it was like they were down 14. They're like, oh, this is actually really bad.
Yeah,
Because they've never been losing a lot of games before, so it's like, oh, okay, like
whatever.
our
It's
offense-
fine.
and
Whatever.
they're down 14. They're like, oh, we're not actually in this game.
We're
right now.
losing by a significant margin. Yeah, then they came
Patrick
out and
Mahomes was
stopped them.
guys,
Guys, I need you to come out and I need you to play better.
we're actually losing.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice, 107 yards,
Yeah.
touchdown, 8 receptions. I think if he can start playing like a
True
wide
wide
receiver,
receiver
1.5 or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
I think they can really start rolling.
Yeah.
That's really what they need because also a very underrated rivalry I think is the Raiders Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because there's some chippiness, some chirping going on, whatever. And I
I'm
think
here.
it was I'm here.
here.
But it was
That's the game.
Yeah.
That was when he said it against
that
the
was
Raiders.
him. But I think it was Sky Moore. I think caught a touchdown pass and like went right up to like Robert Spillane or something. Was like in his ear, just
Oh,
chirping
wow.
the out of him. Down
Yeah.
7-14, and he was chirping. So I mean, like it. I mean, I don't know. The Chiefs, did they figure out their offense finally? Maybe, but I still am like, I don't know because they could just come out there and lose again. But if you're right, if Rashee Rice can finally turn out and be that number 1.5 receiver that they're looking for, they can have Sky Moore. They can have Kadarius Toney was made out of glass, so he was
Yeah.
But if they can have
hamstring.
yeah, exactly. If they can have Travis Kelce be that safety blanket and like be those catches on third downs, then have Rashee Rice as the deep threat. I think they have a good shot at like really cementing themselves as the 1 seed down the road. But I just need to see more consistency.
Yeah,
That's
for
really
sure.
it.
I think this is something where you see maybe they give Rashee Rice maybe more of the keys this game. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we now need to figure out like who actually is the main receiver. we're
Clearly,
targeting.
MVS is not him.
No, MVS ain't.
No, and they need to figure it out. So I think it's a good improvement for the Chiefs. Get a win back on the board
Mhm.
again. This is really important for just keeping pace in the AFC. If you
Because the AFC is a bloodbath.
Yes.
yeah, if you look at the standings right now, the Ravens lead 9-3 because they haven't had their bye yet.
Yep.
And then it's Chiefs at 8-3, Jaguars at 8-3, Dolphins at 8-3, Steelers 7-4, Browns 7-4, which probably won't stick. And that's right now what your standings look like. So you got 4 teams at 8-3.
Yeah.
And that's very important for. I mean, you could be the Dolphins at 8. You're the Dolphins at 8-3 right now, and you would currently be hosting a game against like the Steelers. I don't think you want to be doing that.
No.
Nope.
I don't think you want any part of
That weird.
a 5 seed coming in
Yeah.
who's really talented. Even if it's just the Steelers and no one really fears them.
that defense still.
Yeah.
Because again, the Steelers win stupid games.
Matt Canada's
If the
voodoo magic.
Yeah.
If the Jaguars have to play a
Tom-
team like the
Tomlin.
Steelers in the
Ugh.
first round, I could
Yeah.
see the Jaguars being upset by a team like the Steelers.
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Yep.
The Jaguars only beat the Steelers this season like 14-10.
Or
Yeah.
The Ravens.
yeah.
The Ravens and Steelers have to play a divisional rival in round
In the-
one. in bad weather and
Any
you have-
given Sunday.
Yep.
Any given Sunday.
But that's that. And then 1 moment of silence, please, for the Chargers. Raj, defend your client, Brandon Staley.
Hell no. Hell no. Send that man to Guangdong. It's over. Him, MVS, they'll have fun in Guangdong.
Yeah.
I don't
It's-
care. I can't defend that man.
The most Chargers thing ever. This game, Ravens win 20-10. Not even a bad score. The Chargers lose 3 fumbles and have an interception to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
4 turnovers to the Ravens, 0 turnovers. That's what loses you the game.
Yeah.
You could have, if you had all 4 of those possessions back and kicked field goals
You
on
would have won.
all 4 of them, you win the game.
Yeah.
You need to score. You would have scored 22 points and you would have won the game.
Actually, no, I can defend the Chargers as a team. I'm not defending Staley. So, you know this thing called bad luck and a curse?
Yeah.
The Chargers are just cursed as a franchise.
When does the curse end, though?
Never.
Never.
The,
Oh, never.
the curse ends when the owner sells the team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the curse is never ending. Like when they were, what was it? St. Louis? No, not St. Louis.
San Diego.
San Diego
Yeah.
Chargers. Even in San Diego, they were cursed.
They were.
They go to LA, still cursed.
It's
It's
the owner.
just the owner. That
Owner's
team is
cursed.
cursed, and it's not Herbert's fault. Did you see what happened to Tyrod? Before the first or second game of the season,
Yeah.
the doctor missed his ribs and punctured his lung.
with like an 8-gauge needle.
Like, tell me what other team would that happen to?
Yeah, you're right. That would not happen to any other
The Chargers
team.
are just cursed as a team. Like, you have all these pieces. Their defense, preseason, scary. Their offense has all the pieces, scary. Also, they blew a 30-point lead in the playoffs. Tell me the Chargers aren't just a cursed team.
They are.
It's just baffling how they consistently find ways to lose games because this is a really winnable game. As I mentioned, they lost the turnover battle by 4. They only lost by 10.
Mhm.
Very winnable game. But the Ravens, they still nothing flashy from them, but
Yeah.
they keep picking up wins. 9-3. We were just talking before the pod. They need the bye week so bad. Like they've just been playing
They do.
They're
nonstop
hurt.
good football.
Yeah, they just need to rest like desperately. And I mean it's just there's nothing even else to it. It's just how awful they are.
Yep.
And cursed. I mean, I can't even defend them at this point. Like they also I just want to say who thought it was a good idea to draft Quentin Johnson over Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Jordan
Why?
Addison won the Biletnikoff.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, what are you? Why
Zay
are you?
Flowers put up MVP, well, not MVP numbers. Zay Flowers put up amazing numbers with Phil Draconovich at QB.
Like, I don't.
And we're Pitt football fans, and
Yeah.
we know how bad.
And
that
we know how awful this team can the Pitt football can be. Jordan Addison is so good.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with you?
It's the definition of like looking too hard at it. Like, oh, he's a freak athletically. It's like, well, what do you produce on the football field?
Drops.
And it's
He
like,
didn't produce
well,
anything.
he went to the college football playoff, and Jordan Addison didn't. And it's like, okay, but Jordan Addison's a better route
Yeah.
runner.
Yeah.
and can catch.
Yeah.
and doesn't catch with his body. He
Zay
catches
Fla-
with his hands.
Zay Flower has been great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Addison has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And Quentin Johnson is irrelevant.
Even JSN, he's been
Yep,
solid on
JSN.
the Seahawks too.
Mhm. It's baffling. It's like the definition of overthinking.
It's
Oh.
like that one meme with the 3 military guys and the 1 clown.
Yep.
That is what Quinn Johnson is.
Yep.
He's not good.
No.
Or it's early.
And again, he
It's
could
early.
change the narrative.
Yes.
I would truly, I would love to see him do very well. I do want the Chargers to do well just because of how cursed they've been for the longest time. But dear God, what were you thinking?
Maybe I shouldn't have bet Eagles to beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl.
You cursed
It
them.
was $1 to make 50.
Damn
I
you.
had to.
Damn you! You cursed
I
them.
had to.
All right.
Alrighty. Going through games that blow. We're gonna go through rapid fire on these.
Speed run.
It probably won't be a speed run knowing us. First game, Dolphins beat Jets.
Hail Mary.
13.
Yeah, the Hail Mary. That's literally the only
notable
thing that
thing.
mattered.
Yep.
A 99-yard pick six
Yeah.
on a Hail Mary.
Yeah, and half. Like
At the end of the
half. Time's expired.
Jesus.
Most
and
Jets thing to happen.
The Jets
Yeah.
were actually in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somehow.
In the game, and that just blew it open.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Big shocker. Dolphins beat the Jets. Who cares? Peter, just take the next game.
Okay. I say this every week. Please stop airing Giants games. I know they won. They've won the past 2 weeks. Still stop airing these games. It's not fun to watch.
Peter, how many points were scored at halftime?
I think it was 7.
No, it was 0.
No.
It was 0.
No, it was 7. The Giants scored.
Giants scored a
four.
touchdown.
Last
It was-
second. Oh, okay.
It was 7-0. It was
Isaiah
7-0 and a
Hodgins.
half. And then each team scored a whopping total of 10 more points. Total. There was one more field goal and then
Another touchdown.
another touchdown by the Patriots. Then the Patriots went down there and they were like, wait, I need to go get Drake May, and they just went whoop, shank the field goal, and then everyone's like, "Hey, Giants, we have sort of a culture. We want to try to win." Patriots are like, "Nuh-uh, tanks on," and they established that. I mean, Giants had 3 picks in the game.
Yeah.
Mac Jones looks awful. He looks
He's just
so bad.
It was like kind of okay in the beginning of the year, maybe still a receiver.
He's
and
so
then,
bad.
Giants money line was like plus 210
It was
too.
plus 210. I mean, both teams. I
At
think were,
MetLife, that's crazy.
yeah. I mean,
Tommy DeVito was free.
Yeah.
Tommy Cutlets,
The Italian
the
Stallion.
Italian Stallion was going out there. I mean, he was like 246 yards and a
Wait,
touchdown.
hold on. The
What?
Vikings, I get money on the Vikings. Hold on.
It's 0-3 right now, right?
Yeah, I'm totally betting the $10.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to bet Vikings, do it now.
Right
Oh,
now,
you're
both
gonna
teams
know.
are favored on the money line, but I really like the Vikings at that. They're
What-
only
what is
down
it?
3. What? Minus 118.
Oh, okay.
But
Also,
anyway.
I could bet the spread. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but just basically, the Giants are going into the bye week. Just stop airing Giants games. Kayvon Thibodeau, still good.
What's
Um,
next? Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I wanted to talk about my parlay.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Which is
Jesus
totally gonna
Christ.
hit.
What is it?
At the beginning of the year, I bet Eagles, 49ers, Jaguars, and Chiefs to win their division.
That's solid. How much you put down?
$5 to win 38.
That's not bad.
And it's most certainly going to hit.
Yeah.
All right.
And unfortunately, I've lost my exact division order bet because I bet Dolphins, Jets, Bills, and Patriots, which would have been if Aaron Rodgers is here, I'm 100% that bet hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers got
4 plays.
Yeah. and so I lost that, and Ben Simmons is not going to win Most Improved Player.
Well,
so.
yeah, we told you he wasn't.
Every year with this guy.
Dude, it's the Ben Simmons cycle.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
Anyway, Titans beat Panthers. We kind of already talked about the Titans.
No.
I mean, they're like,
Meh.
yeah, whatever. I mean, it's like they're kind of like treading water right now. They should just kind of tank at this point.
Yeah.
They
Could be a Marvin Harrison team.
Could be.
could be a Marvin Harrison team. Panthers. Frank Reich got fired. First coach ever to be fired in back-to-back seasons.
Dude, he's got in the bag, too.
Yeah.
He's got so much money.
Just as a side note, currently the every NFL owner combined is paying $800 million to fired coaches.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so just wanted to put that in perspective. But yeah, he's getting the absolute bag for the next couple of years, so I don't think he's really too. I mean, obviously he's upset, but can't be too upset when you're getting paid millions to do literally nothing.
Nothing. Yep.
Yeah, I mean the Panthers are kind of just treading water at this point. They
Yeah.
they need because they don't even have their first round pick.
Yep.
But I
They
mean,
sold their soul for Bryce Young.
but I mean, I guess at this point you kind of just put the tank on anyway, just so you can get a good second round, third round, whatever.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's kind of what at this point they don't. Obviously, they need flashy players, but at this point, they need to build up their O line.
Yep.
They need to build up their defense, and a lot of those guys you find in like the later rounds of the draft, like they aren't going to be flashy players, but they're guys that you just need.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the Frank Reich. It's baffling to me how a guy went from pretty much being one of the sole reasons Carson Wentz is going to win the MVP award until he blew out his knee to getting a head coaching job in Indianapolis. He actually trades for his guy Carson Wentz to be the quarterback, fails there, goes right down to Carolina. There's some reporting that he wanted Stroud and not Young, whatever
Mhm.
happens.
Yep.
And you get fired. It's a really to get fired from this job so soon is a horrible look because you could easily chalk it off as, well, the team's not that good, which is true. Bryce Young's a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the skilled players are really that good around them besides Adam Thielen.
It's just
You could easily chalk it up as that. But the fact that they're willing to fire him so soon
Yep.
shows that something's not resonating in that
Mhm.
locker room. Something's not vibing. And that's a really big concern of your Frank. Like, I don't think this guy's going to get a head coaching job
Mhm.
for
it's
ever again or for a really long time.
yeah. I mean, he kind of just screwed himself. I don't know. I don't have words at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's not a good coach.
It'll be very interesting
I
to see
don't
what they
know.
do.
I don't know.
I think the next coach they bring in is going to be really interesting to see because the person who's going to be coming into the job is going to be responsible for fixing Bryce Young or developing him or whatever you want to call it. He's going to be the Bryce Young guy.
but then who do you go get?
It's a question. Brian Johnson's been a name from the
Brian
Eagles,
Johnson,
but I'm not.
or the Lions too. Whatever that Johnson is.
Yep.
But I think, yeah. I mean,
That they talk about that. I mean, of course, you get the freaking Nick Saban, John Harbaugh. talk, but I don't
They
think it's
always do that every season.
Yeah.
Is it time Saban leaves Bama
Yeah.
or Harbaugh coming back to the NFL? It's always that.
Yeah, if I was the
Talk yourself
Panthers,
out
I
of
would
it.
really
Got
sit
myself.
there and evaluate. Maybe not a guy that is on a good team right now, and maybe think about
Mhm.
what is someone that we really like his schemes. What is someone we really think works well with quarterbacks?
Yeah,
Even if it's a-
exactly. Like you need to get a guy in there that can really develop a young quarterback.
Yep, and
Yep.
like a guy like like a kind of guy like D'Amico Ryans, where like he wasn't like a top pick,
Yeah.
like on a really good winning
Mhm.
team,
But he can
Kind-
make a good culture
Yes.
and like really build like that team around like a young quarterback because D'Amico Ryans is a defensive guy, but like just the way he carries himself, he's a much more because he obviously a former player, played for Houston. And I think like building that culture, I think around a young quarterback is just as important as getting a guy in there to develop them. Because, you know, you can have a great quarterback, but if the locker room doesn't have faith in him and you can't trust him,
Yeah.
then it doesn't really
I
matter
mean,
how good
look
they
at
are.
look at the locker room surrounding some of the other rookie quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, everyone loves him.
Everybody loves him, yeah.
Everyone loves Anthony Richardson. That whole locker room, like
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew knows it's not his
But
job.
look at a team like Mac Jones,
Yep.
or look at a team like the Patriots
Yeah.
with Mac Jones. Yeah, Mac Jones.
The Mac Jones is lost
Mac-
this week.
Yeah, exactly. Like they, like at first it was like, oh yeah, like Mac's our guy, whatever. But then there's like reports coming out that like nobody has faith in Mac Jones. They want him benched at this point,
Yep.
and it's like Belichick couldn't care less. He's not an offensive guy. That's not his problem. But then he doesn't bring anybody in to like really kind of build around like that offense at all. And it's like, yeah, they kind of have Bill O'Brien in there, I guess, but like he's not really doing that well. And like, I don't know. It's just
What I think would be interesting is, and I don't know what a coaching interview would look like, if you brought in like maybe a good defensive guy for the culture for the team, a head coach, but then you hired someone
like a good offensive
like a
coordinator.
Dan Orlovsky if you wanted to take a chance.
I mean,
somebody who wants to break into the scene that you know will bring a lot of energy to the position. Is a player friendly guy. I don't know if you would want to take the risk
for Dan Orlovsky or somebody like
for
that.
Dan Orlovsky, but
But
somebody
like that. Yeah.
somebody that is a player's kind of guy and really has like a lot of energy. Like I don't know if you want to get some 30-year burnt out guy who's made it through the ranks of the league. Like you want a guy who's going to give his all to this
Mhm.
to this quarterback because they gave up
Yeah.
a ton for him and he's not playing well.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Rams, sneaky Rams. They take down the Cardinals 37-14. Very live for a playoff spot. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't even understand this. Like they,
Kyron Williams is him.
yeah, I guess they're back, kinda. I guess.
I mean, they're one game back of being tied with the Seahawks, and they beat the Seahawks already this year.
that was such a bad.
So
loss.
they could very easily overtake them. The Packers have the same record. A couple more Rams games go the right way, they'll find themselves back into the playoffs.
Yeah.
that's unreal.
And now that
Yep.
Kyron Williams is back, they have a run game again.
They have a run game. They can now run.
They have
the
Cup and Puka.
yeah, Cup and Puka.
They're
I
back
mean,
from injury, so
I mean, yeah, I think what's going to be interesting is like, I mean, yes, they have like their playoffs coming up, so they again may or may not make it. They kind of control their own destiny. They basically just need to win out
Yeah.
and then like have some other things kind of go their way. But what's the future look like for them?
I don't know because
Stafford's-
Stenson Bennett.
Like Stafford's kind of at like
Oh,
nearing the end of
no.
his contract.
Well,
Aaron Donald's
Wentz.
nearing the end of his contract. They have Wentz there,
Yeah.
but like, I mean,
Is Stenson still on that team? I
I
don't
have
know.
No, because he's having that mental health.
Oh,
Possible.
Yeah, he stepped
he's having
away,
that really
yeah.
big weird.
yeah, he stepped away.
Don't even know what's going on
Yeah.
there. Issue.
But yeah. So I mean,
Completely
like,
forgot that even happened. That was a good
Yeah.
shout.
Yeah.
but I think like, do you, as like the Rams, do you just build up like everybody else on the roster and then kind of like ride out with Stafford and I guess Wentz, and then at one point just go and draft a quarterback, like trade up and just go get them and just say F them picks like they always do?
Yeah, I think
That's kind of all they do.
in this situation. You just kind of say,
Arch Manning.
I mean, they could.
Maybe.
Like realistically, that might not be a
Shador
bad.
Sanders.
Like, well,
back fracture.
yeah, back fracture. I don't know about that.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would say if you're the Rams, you keep trying to win until Aaron Donald retires,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And-
you rebuild.
and then you press the reset button.
Yeah. I think that's
I mean,
valid.
you
I
got a
think
Super
Matt
Bowl
Stafford
ring out
has
of it.
another
Yeah.
year or two.
I mean, I can't really blame the Rams because like everybody was kind of worried about them falling off a cliff and they sort of did, but not really.
Yeah.
But we also know that like Sean McVay is like on the way out too.
Yeah.
So
Is
I could,
Actually?
yeah. I
Wait.
mean, there's been talks of him like leaving.
Well, he says that every year.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think
Well,
And
leaving for
Jason
his-
Kelsey says he's retiring every
Yeah.
year and he comes back. So like I don't want to hear that.
I think it makes a lot
LeBron
of,
said he's retiring at some point.
I
then
would
he's
say
like, no, I'm
I
good.
could very much see a world with the Rams, which they're not a dynasty, so it would be weird for them to do it, but I think they could do it. Where like Aaron Donald, Sean McVay, and Stafford kind of all like leave at the same time.
Good possibility.
Wow, that would be crazy.
That is a possibility.
I
Yeah.
mean, I could totally see that happening, but that'd just be like, damn, they're hitting a full reset.
Yeah, which it also would be goofy just because they're not a dynasty, so it'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
like-
don't worry, all three boys are gonna. You mean like, oh, the three boys who won the Super Bowl once?
Yeah, you're all going to walk up into the sunset with a one ring after and Aaron Donald's walking over to the sunset after being with his team for like 15 years. The other two have been there for it's like, I've been here for like 5. I've been here for like 2. It's like, all
Belichick,
right.
Gronk, and Brady from Wish.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but I would say I would love to see their playoff odds. I would totally consider betting money on them to get in.
Mhm.
Yeah. All
Let
right.
me see if I got some futures while you take the next game.
Yeah, I'll take the next. So Broncos beat the Browns. I mean, just bad game for the Browns. Obviously, they're not playing with Watson. Bad injury for Myles Garrett.
Mhm.
It was his left arm. Apparently, he said that something felt like it popped at one
Ugh.
point. So, not looking great there. But so not looking great for Browns. But they're still 7-4. They still have a shot at the playoffs.
Mhm.
The team that is interesting though is the Broncos.
Yeah, 5-game
They're-
win streak.
they're kind of figuring it out.
Broncos country, let's ride.
They're sort of got it
I
together.
don't. I guess it just needed some time to marinate.
Because
Russ might have been cooking.
odds on the Rams. I don't know why.
Dang.
No,
Well,
that's-
because they put up 29 points on a Browns defense that's really good.
yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be interesting to kind of see where they go, and of course, we're going to touch on that a little bit later.
Mhm.
But I mean, they control their own destiny, and if things go right, if the Broncos, after their awful start and the amount of trash we talked about them,
That's not going to be a
They
good
have
look.
they have sorry off topic. They have them off the betting right now because it's
It's
very
too close.
dependent on this Vikings
Yeah.
game.
that's true.
Because the Vikings are a wild card
Mhm.
team and
Got it.
they're like, oh, we're not letting the Vikings lose, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh wow. Okay. Anyway,
3-4.
Yes, but yeah. So basically, we're just saying the Broncos are a very sneaky, good team that controls their own destiny.
which is, I mean, I clown Sean Payton as much as any single person.
We were trashing on them
And
more than any
a
other
lot of what I
podcast.
say about his personality and what happened with the Nathaniel Hackett thing stands, but I was fully on the Broncos suck. Sean Payton can't fix this. They need to stop doing this kind of stuff and give them full credit. They're very much live for the playoffs.
Josh Dobbs just threw a pick.
Nice. The alopecia assassin himself.
It deflected,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Not his fault. Still believe in you, Josh.
Anyway, and then Bears Vikings tonight. We kind of talked about it a little
Yeah.
bit because it's going on while we're recording. This game is wildly important for the Vikings. Like I
Mhm.
can't even.
They desperately need to win this
Yes.
game, and they are losing 3-0, and they just threw a pick.
Yep.
So
Not-
interesting.
Not good.
7-5 puts you in a great spot in the wild card, especially with the bad NFC.
Mhm.
And you have the Lions that you would play twice, and if you won one or two of those games, suddenly you win the division,
Mhm.
and that's crazy to think. So Vikings need to pull it out. Bears, it's probably just in your best interest to lose the game, but I mean, you have
Who
so
knows?
much invested in Justin Fields that you probably should just go ahead and win to be good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Moving on. We'll do this a little bit quick to wrap it up. The question is, what team or two has your eye in the next few weeks of the season? So while the regular season finishes up, what teams are you watching? I guess, Raj, we can start with you.
Yep. So Falcons, because now they're finally using Bijan. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen in the NFC South
Mhm.
because that thing's up for grabs still.
Yep.
Don't know how, but once you finally start using your first round pick,
Yeah.
crazy things happen.
I know, right?
You beat a division rival. Shocker. Anyways, Steelers. Maybe with Canada gone, the Steelers could become a little bit more competent
On offense, at least.
on offense. And once the defensive injuries get resolved,
Yep.
maybe they go out and get some veteran to sign real quick to replace
Yeah, I mean, there's probably plenty
Alexander?
of guys. Yeah, there's.
Shaq Leonard
Oh God.
or
Yeah, but Shaq
Marcus
Leonard
Peters.
Shaq Leonard hasn't been considered for that. It's apparently it's only between the Eagles and Cowboys.
No.
I mean, it makes
So
sense
he's ring
because, obviously,
Yeah,
ring
I
chasing
mean,
at
yeah.
that point.
Whatever. But still, Steelers is going to be interesting. Maybe if the offense starts cooking again, the defense can shine because they're not on the field 24/7.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah.
who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. For me, the two teams I'm looking at, we were just talking about the Broncos, but I mean, Broncos definitely, they kind of came out of nowhere because everybody really wrote them off a lot at first, but, they kind of just kept their heads down. They lost by 70 and they kind of just worked their way back up, and now they're 6-5. They got a shot at the playoffs, even with a very competitive AFC. That's very, very impressive. But I mean, they just kind of got to figure it out. And then my next team is the Packers. Again, another one of those teams where it's like they started off slow, they started off bumpy, rocky road, but control their own destiny. Can things go right? They can sneak their way into the playoffs. Jordan Love is going to be talked about as one of the better quarterbacks in the league somehow, after everybody was saying that they needed to draft another quarterback at the beginning of the year. But yeah, I think those two teams, the reason why they interest me so much is just because they really do control their own destiny and they can sneak into that last spot.
For sure. And then I have two different ones. My eyes are big on the Saints. We've talked a lot about the Saints. Problems with the cap, how they won't just give up and reset and rebuild. And they're 5-6, which is not good, but they're still very much live for the division lead. And it feels like that division is going to come down to either you win it and you get into the playoffs, or you're not going to get a wild card spot unless things start to change. And they play, let me look up the Saints schedule real quick.
Yeah, I mean, the things with the Saints, it's like, yes, they're winning their division, but they still suck.
Greg Olson's interested in the Panthers head coaching job.
Greg Olson?
Yeah.
But why, like,
Interesting.
so with a take like that, though, like, head coach, like, maybe we, like, you'd be hiring.
It's like a Jeff Saturday situation.
You'd be hiring him
Yeah.
as a.
Jason Pierre-Paul signing with the team?
Wait, what?
Huh?
What?
Check that.
But if Greg Olson was interested in the head coach job, it would feel like very much like a culture setter.
Dolphins?
Well, because they just lost
Yeah.
Jalen Phillips.
Damn.
Torn Achilles, awful. MetLife turf.
the seven-finger man.
Apparently an insane number of head coaches are going to be fired. Well, we know that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, quick note on the Greg Olson thing. That would only be the head coach to like set the culture of the team.
Yeah.
You would still need to go get an offensive
Actual offensive
coordinator.
guy, yeah.
But anyway, Saints play the Lions, Panthers, Giants, Rams, Bucks, and Falcons. And those will be some interesting games they have to play. They're very much live to make the playoffs. I feel like the only way you justify some of the decisions you've made money-wise
Is if you make the playoffs.
is to make the playoffs.
And honestly, make a run in the playoffs, not just make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bare minimum, though, you have to make the playoffs.
Yeah, bare minimum. You
And
gotta
that's
make
why I'm watching them, because I know they need to make it. And then a team they play this upcoming week is I'm watching the Lions because they got a lot of hype as being a potential Super Bowl contender
Yeah.
right outside of that Philadelphia and
it. Kansas
San
City.
Francisco
Yeah.
class in the NFC, and then
Yep.
behind a couple other teams in the AFC.
Mhm.
They did not play well against the Bears 2 weeks ago. Needed a big comeback and Justin Fields fumble and all that type of stuff
Yep.
to win. And then they just got straight up beat with a bunch of turnovers. Jared Goff's been turning the ball over a ton. Now, how do you come back from the adversity? Now, how do you get yourself back in that conversation? Because are you going to let it be a Eagles, San Francisco, and Dallas 3-team race in the NFC?
Or are you
Or
going
are
to
you
throw
gonna-
yourself in the mix?
Or are you going to put yourself as a fourth team, a team that can go in and upset Philly in the second round, a team that can go in and upset the 49ers and make that run with your current team? You're probably going to lose your offensive coordinator this year. Like, this could be a good opportunity, a good year to go do that
Mhm.
with your team. And so I'm really looking forward to see how they face the next couple of games, because we can look at the Lions schedule real quick. We've mentioned it a little bit as well. They play the Vikings twice.
Yep.
And those games could make or break their
Those are
entire
those are going to be huge games.
Yep.
And then because neither of them are prime time.
Well, one of them's on flex. Their
Okay.
time to be
Okay.
determined. So
Okay.
they can still be there. They play the Saints next week, which we just talked about. Huge
Yep.
game for both teams. They play the Bears, the Broncos, which suddenly became a tough game.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Vikings, the Cowboys, in the second to last week, which the Cowboys are probably going to be playing for positioning, hoping it will be tough because the Eagles might have to falter a bunch, but that could be a big game for them.
Mhm.
Well, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, then it could be
It could be crazy,
huge,
yeah.
huge game for them. And then they played the Vikings last game of the season. So the Lions don't have an impossible schedule, but it's definitely not
Yeah.
kicking over. A lot of teams playing hard, so my eyes will be on them to see what they can do the end of the year.
Yeah. So I think every year, every week, the NFL script just gets more nutty. Oh yeah. Also, something just completely random that I just remembered happened. One of the Raiders players got arrested right before the game for a DUI charge. Just the most Raiders moment.
I
ever.
never heard about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of their starting safety got arrested on a DUI charge. Apparently on the way to the game. I don't
What
know.
was he on?
He was apparently drunk.
That's wild.
But I don't know any of the details. That's all I was just reading headlines. I could be completely wrong, whatever. But NFL script writers, I don't know what you're on, but just keep doing it because every week it's insane.
I ain't gonna lie, this slate of games in week 13 is horrible. Eyes out for the 49ers, Eagles, and the Broncos, Texans will be good games, but otherwise I'm looking around and it looks like a pretty mid.
Well, that's what we always think, and then it's always
I know.
chaos.
But like Jets, Falcons, like
Okay, for all we know, Tim Boyle's gonna go out there and throw 4 touchdowns or throw picks.
Dolphins, Commanders, Chiefs, Packers,
I don't know. That could be a random one.
Rams, Browns.
That could be a good game. That could be the game of the week.
Yeah, but who wants to watch it?
No one wants to watch it, but that could be the game of the week.
It could be. Anyway, this has been the Coconut Curry Podcast. That's an hour and a half of recording. Happy Thanksgiving to all, and we will see you next time.
I have an assignment due at midnight.
Oh, Jesus.